conference. But while we wait for everyone to finish registration and join in, our team has prepared some videos, some performances, and a fun little trivia game to make sure you guys are on your toes before the ceremony for tonight. So to get started, we'd first like to present a compilation of some of our wonderful delegates discussing what MUN means to them.
Brotherhood.
A challenge.
MUN to me means empowerment.
Leadership.
Enlightenment.
Opportunity.
Elevating debates.
Hope.
MUN to me is powerful.
Significant.
MUN is passion.
Confidence booster.
AUSMUN is a new experience.
Problem solving and leadership skills.
Improvement.
Experiential.
Privilege.
All right, okay, so that is quite touching. And now we would like to invite our logistics team to present a little trivia game to test your knowledge before the conference begins. Allow me to pass on the mic to Ramisha Siddiqui, the Deputy Director of Logistics, and Utkarsh Chauhan, a member of our logistics team. You can use that or this.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to AUSMUN 22. So my name is Ramisha, and I hope you guys are excited for what we have planned for you today. I'll hand it over to my co-host here.
All right. Good evening, everyone. As we can see, everyone's on their last-minute researches and everything. So we have something for you here. It's a quick trivia that both of us have prepared for you. And the winner of the trivia, obviously, just stay tuned for something exciting. So we hope all of you, with your last side-minute hustle, can cope with this. So let's go.
So since we've been spending the past 2 years online, a lot of you are most probably acquainted with this. And I can see so many of you joining in already before I have even explained it. But for the rest of you, so you guys can open up your phones. I'm pretty sure everyone here has a phone. And you can enter the URL here. So that's joinmyquiz.com without any spaces. As soon as you enter that in, you can input the code, which is 716071, into the app, and then log in with your first and last names, and we can get started soon. Looks like a lot of you are joining in. We'll wait for a couple more minutes for the rest of you to join in.
All right, so we wait for at least 130 to hit, and then we begin the game. So many of you are with your schools, and you have your friends next to you. Obviously, there's going to be a bit of helping each other around. But do make sure the winners are going to be acknowledged well. So please put your stuff into this. All right, we have 140. That is a great number. So we'll be waiting for another a minute, yeah, and then we begin the game.
If anyone else is still joining in and would like us to wait for you to join in before we start the game, please raise your hand so we can wait for you. Okay, great.
And if you have any difficulties, there are these coordinators next to you. You can ask them for help. They'll be glad to do so.
About to reach the 200 mark. Come on, guys, join in.
The number doesn't stop increasing. All right, guys, we know it's been the last few online years and you want to join with those names, but our man Sharjah up there, he's going to remove those, so you miss out on that. Can we have a show of hands if people are still joining? All right, guys, please, let's speed it up, yeah?
we've reached around 115 people. So are we waiting for anyone else to join in? Okay, we have 3 people over there, 4 people. Let's quickly join in so we can get started.
All right, so as we can see, people are going to keep coming in, but then the ones who are already here, you're at an advantage because you get to play from the very beginning. And the people who keep joining, feel free to switch on your phones and join the quiz, yeah? So let's get started. Check. All right, guys, let's count down to the first question. This must be way of life for you guys. I mean, I had my final exam quizzes on this, so come on.
Okay, so let's look into what the first question is. 2022 marks which year anniversary of Queen Elizabeth's status as the monarch of the UK?
So guys, do keep in mind, we're not following the exact timer over there. Just for this question, 20 seconds. After this, we're going to be 10 seconds maximum, yeah? Since we're short on time. So
rapid fire.
Yeah. All right, even 20 seconds wasn't enough for all of you to answer, but yeah. All right, good job, guys, good job. There you go. So, Pratham, okay, Pratham, well done. Hey. All right, next question. You guys need to catch up, yeah? The rest of you, don't worry. There's enough. All right, so where was the 2022 Winter Olympics held? We're going to end this at 15 seconds. So.
I heard a lot of people telling us the answers. You might want to keep it to yourself so maybe you can win, but go ahead.
It's a strategy. They're screaming out the wrong answer. It's the way of school. All right, guys, we've decided to end it. And Pratham, let's see if he's still in the lead. Oh, okay. Abdul Karim, let's go, guys. You're representing a school. Let's go. Good one. We've decided to be nice. We're not going to end the questions early. We're giving you all the time because we can see out of 250, there's still 40 of you not answering. So come on.
Okay, so let's look into the next question. Ukraine is declared as an aspiring member by the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. True or false?
5 seconds in, 220 of you have answered. Nice one.
I know you guys know this.
I love the group work going on. One of them is researching and the other ones are answering. How nice. This is how it's supposed to be. All right, let's see.
It's all right, guys. Don't worry. You'll have multiple opportunities in the upcoming questions as well.
Okay, Karim isn't still in the lead. Well done, guys. The rest of you, don't worry. We have enough questions for you to catch up. Eventually, this is what happens. I'll do the next one. All right, so this is something you should be knowing. You guys are here. So who's the current president?
Okay, let's see the answers.
All right, we stop it at 25 seconds cap, yeah? All right, let's see. All right, Amin, let's go to the next question. Come on, let's move on.
Now we're going to start the rapid fire round. So who was the first woman in New Zealand to hold the office of Prime Minister immediately following an election? Remember, you have half the time now. We're in rapid fire mode.
And we ended in 3, 2, 1. There you go. I'm sorry, we can't let all participants. Let's go. Good one. You got to speed up, guys. I'm sorry about that. Type faster maybe when you're searching it up. All right, next one, please. guys, not even 3 seconds in, and like what 50 of you have answered. There you go. So, which group is also called the Blue Helmets? I'm going to count down to 8 more
I think
seconds.
this is an easy one. Let's look at the answers.
Yes, guys, it's gonna keep decreasing. Sorry, you gotta speed up. Kareem is doing really well. Kareem, where are you? There you go. Next one.
So in 2017, who became Europe's youngest head of government? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up.
Yep, that's how it's supposed to be. Nice one. I think Kareem is not going to move from the leaderboard. Let's see if he still stays on top. All right, guys, moving on to the next one. For those of you leading, just try to stay in the lead now. The last 10, 12 questions. Okay. So how many countries have boycotted the Beijing Winter Olympics? Kind of negative, but okay. I like how the focus of your research.
4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, so the leaderboard's hardly going to change now. So guys, you got to catch up.
So which of the following countries were not a founding member of the United Nations?
And we have 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, there you go. Good. Well done, guys. All right, guys, 11 more to go. 11 more to go. Let's go. All right, so in February, Pope Francis became the first pope to visit which region? Okay. And we ended. Yeah, good one. Let's go. Ravish, next one.
Looks like Haya is in the lead.
Guys, now we're reducing the time limit to 10 seconds. I mean, even less. 8 seconds. Let's go.
The World Bank was set up following which event? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time's up.
I'm sorry, this is how it's going to be now. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, no. Sorry, Jude. All right, the next one. So in August, Indonesian President Joko, I'm not going to pronounce that, announced the new capital shall be moving to which part of the country? And I finished reading the question, and the time ends now. Okay, it's getting intense. Come on, guys, last 7 questions.
Let's see what the next question is. The world gave a big sigh of relief when 2 countries responsible for 40% of the world's carbon emissions signed the Paris Global Climate Agreement. Which were the 2 countries?
As she finished reading the question, the time's up. Let's go. All right, so now, from now, the leaderboard's going to be stable, hopefully, unless one of you messes up. Let's go to the next one. Last 6, guys. Last 6. So when did the first General Assembly happen? In which year?
And time's up.
Yep, it's going to get faster. Guys, last 5 questions, 5 seconds.
We have the extra rapid fire round.
Extra rapid fire.
Which was the first country in the Southern Hemisphere to allow women to vote?
And we ended. There you go.
Here, no one was allowed to vote.
No one was allowed to. I'm sorry about this, but the next time you read the question might even end before, so my bad. All right, so which animal is the symbol of the Democratic Party in the US? And 3, 2, 1. Yep, that's how it's going to be. I'm sorry, guys, I'm sorry. That's how it's going to be.
Looks like Haya is still in the lead. Which country was added to the G7 to form the G8 in 1997? Boom. And time's up.
Yep. The Googling's not going to work anymore. No Google, sorry. All right, last 3 questions. Okay, so in which city is the European Parliament based? In 3, 2, 1, end. Okay, he gave you 1 extra second.
Let's see what the next question is.
When we played it, there was no one on top 1 always. I don't know what you guys are using, but okay.
Which country is considered the world's largest, most populous democracy?
All right, so for the last question, guys, last question, come on. Remember the top 3, take it home. So who was the first Secretary General of the United Nations? This should have been 3 seconds, yeah? It's okay, 5 seconds. And we ended. All right, guys, top 3, take it home, right?
Let's see who the winners are.
Remember, you do represent your school as well, so just saying. All right, can we please see the leaderboard? Yeah, end the quiz, yeah, it's okay. You can end the quiz now, it's okay. All right, 3rd place, Rama, 2nd, Kareem, and 1st, Haya. Could we please have the winners come down here? The winners, please.
Congratulations, guys.
Call them. Could the winners please raise their hands from the audience? All right, okay,
Ooh,
there's 1.
We have them
2
from the
of
same school.
school.
Congratulations.
Another 1. Please meet us after this. We're going to take your details, yeah? All right. That's it? No.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed playing this game as much as we did. And have fun throughout the rest of the ceremony. Thank you.
Just take their names and numbers. Names and numbers.
All right, okay, thank you so much, and thank you to the logistics team for their amazing help with the trivia game. And honestly, you guys did amazing, so I can definitely tell you guys are well prepared for the conference. And now we have some wonderful performances lined up for all of you. Introducing our very first performance of the night from one of our most wonderful delegates, we have Yu Chang Dee from the Philadelphia Private School, here to mesmerize all of us with her rendition of Chopin Etude No. 5. Take it away. What a wonderful performance. Thank you so much, Yu Chang. And definitely Philadelphia Private School has a wonderful amount of talent. It is my pleasure. All right, so it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our next performer. Representing the American University of Sharjah, we have Abdul Khalik, also known as Abood, playing the piano to the tunes of Abdul Majid Abdullah, as well as two of his own original pieces. All right, thank you so much, Abu. That was amazing, absolutely wonderful. And now for our final performance before the opening ceremony, I would now like to introduce Alia Aldiki, also from the American University of Sharjah. She will be performing Chopin Waltz in C sharp minor, number 2, and the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy. Thank you so much, Alia. That was truly amazing. And honestly, we're looking forward to having many, many more performances tomorrow at the Social Mixer. But before we get started with the opening ceremony, I would once again like to introduce myself as Gautami Pillai, the Director of External Relations for AUSMUN 2022. And I would like to proudly announce our partnership with Dubai Cares for this conference. We have officially started a fundraiser towards raising funds towards girls' education. Our goal is to raise AED 2,500 by the end of this conference, which is actually in 2 days. To donate, all you have to do is scan the QR code that's on the screen, type in your amount, and that's quite literally it. You can also visit our Instagram page, and we have a link in the bio to donate as well. So let's join our hands and make sure we reach our goal together. All right, thank you. That was our pre-opening ceremony. We will now get started with our official opening ceremony. So I shall pass the mic on to our MC for the night. Thank you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start the opening ceremony shortly.
Follow me, one voice, one family. The world as it stands in the palm of our hands, it's our time. Oh, take a seat to the greatest show you'll ever see. We've come so far. one voice, one family. The world as it stands in the palm of our hands, it's our time. Oh, take a seat to the greatest show you'll ever see. We've come so far, but the future is ours to decide what we need. We've got to all come together. Let's join our voice. It's now or never. We are the next generation to strive for a new day. This is our time. I know it now. This is our moment. We have to decide. It's time to stand up and vow to be what the world needs now.
fine. You can skip the class ceremony and just begin normal.
All right.
Did they tell you to introduce us, by the way?
Sorry?
Did they tell you to introduce us?
Yeah,
No, now introduce us.
Yeah, right after the introduction.
Right after the introduction or before?
Right after. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dear prospective advisors, faculty members, organizers, board members, honorable delegates, and distinguished guests. I'm Sheikh Al-Hashmi, your host for this evening, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the American University of Sharjah Model United Nations 2022, with the theme of our 15th National Annual Conference being Challenging Mindsets, Building Human Capacities. First and foremost, I would like to extend our warmest greetings to our eminent speakers and guests for this evening. Provost and Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Juan Sanchez, Vice Provost for Undergraduate Affairs, Dr. James Griffin, Vice Provost for Student Life, Dr. Lisa Moscaritolo, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Mahmoud Al-Nabtawi, Dean of the College of Arts and Science, Dean of the College of Architecture, Art, and Design, Dr. Varki Palafichero, Dean of the School of Business Administration, Dr. Nergis Boubakri, Interim Head of the Department of International Studies, Dr. Yuting Wang, Private Sector Relationship Manager for UNHCR, Bisan Salama, Communications and Advocacy Officer for the UN in the UAE, Sarah Shatila, and the Chief of Staff for the Dubai Cares Pavilion at Expo 2020 Dubai, Meda Suwedi. Your presence is greatly appreciated. As established by the previous editions, AUSMUN remains the most prestigious hub for UN simulations across the region, welcoming advisors, delegates, organizers from diverse backgrounds, and introducing a wide range of committees and topics. With Sapere Aude as our motto, which means dare to know in Latin, you all are about to take part in a fun, enriching, and memorable experience, one that shall enlighten your mind, inspire your soul, and stretch out your horizons, to not only learn the art of debating and diplomacy, but also to become bright and prosperous future leaders with an expanded political awareness. We assure you that by the time you step out of this conference, you will have left with a significantly improved understanding of international relations and organizations. Despite the unprecedented challenges posed by COVID-19, AUSMUN promises to uphold its legacy and make this year's conference one worth remembering for the years to come. So sit back, fasten your seatbelts, and enjoy the ride. Dear guests, now the segment that everyone has been waiting for. Introducing the Executive Board of AUSMUN 2022. Please join me in welcoming the following. The Secretary General, Mohammed Al-Zaabi. The Deputy Secretary General, Anam Naushad. Director of Media, Helen Assar. Director of Human Resources, Reem Ad-Dilemi. Director of Logistics, Fatma Moikel. Director of Research, Aman Mohammed Siddiqui. Director of External Relations, Gauthami Pillai. Director of Web Design and Development, Qamar Al-Qameli. Let's give it up for the AUSMUN 2022 Executive Board. Dear guests, now we move on to the speech segment. We'd like to begin with Dr. Mahmoud Al-Nabtawi, Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, who has taught graduate and undergraduate mathematics courses for more than 18 years at institutions such as the University of Texas at Arlington and Tennessee State University in the US, and of course, AUS. In addition, Dean Al-Nabtawi served as the head of the Department of Mathematics and Statistics for 7 years. And during his time as head of department and dean, he initiated and oversaw the development of new programs, including 3 undergraduate programs in mathematics, physics, and psychology, and a master's program in mathematics, and a PhD program in materials science and engineering. Please welcome on stage Dr. Mahmoud Al-Nabtawi.
Hello, everyone. It's great to see you in person at AUS. We were, at the beginning of the year, planning for AUSMUN. You know, we were debating, should we do it online or should we, do it in person? I'm glad that the decision was made to do it in person so that we can see you here at our beautiful campus and to interact with you, and you can interact with your colleagues and peers from other schools and other universities. Secretary General Muhammad Zahabi, Provost Sanchez, our esteemed guest speaker, Mada As-Suwaidi, Sarah Shatella, and Bisam Salame, Dr. Yoching Wang, Head of the Department of International Studies, AUSMUN Executive Board and faculty advisors, and of course, high school teachers and our young delegates. On behalf of the College of Arts and Sciences and the Department of International Studies, I welcome you all to AUS and the 15th American University of Sharjah Model United Nations Conference, AUSMUN. We are very delighted and take pride in holding events like MUN at AUS, as it will prepare our young generation to become future leaders and provide them with a unique opportunity to get engaged in global issues. As it was mentioned by our host, the theme of this year's conference is challenging mindsets, building human capacities. And the topics include threats to global security, improving democratic governance and institutions, assessing the effectiveness of peacekeeping operations, preventing violent extremism through inclusive development, tolerance, and respect for diversity, among many other topics. This conference will provide you with an opportunity to come together and try to find solutions to these problems through debate and constructive communication and exchange of ideas. And this is what the United Nations is all about, to make all nations sit together and debate with open minds. It will also provide you with an opportunity to develop your ability to understand and carefully analyze all positions, including those you oppose and disagree with. It is the best platform to promote successful diplomacy. You come to AUSMUN as junior delegates, and you will leave it as UN ambassadors. Finally, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the faculty advisors, Dr. Sami Badran, Dr. Janice Lusk, and Dr. Jeffrey King, and the executive assistant, Ms. Ghazal Hijazi, who have supervised the AUS students responsible for organizing this wonderful event, our AUSMUN Executive Board, and students for their hard work and dedication, and finally, Dr. Wang for her strong support and encouragement. Special thank you goes to our participants, our young delegates, and future leaders, and to their teachers who are the driving and motivating force for all success you have been able to achieve. I wish you a very productive conference, and we look forward to very interesting and exciting debates. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Niptawi, for your speech. Up next, we'll have on stage Dr. Yuting Wang, who received her PhD in sociology from the University of Notre Dame. She is professor of sociology and interim head of the Department of International Studies at AUS, and a non-resident research fellow in the Center on Religion and the Global East at Purdue University. She has held several visiting positions, including at Northwestern University, Purdue University, University of California, Berkeley, and the Middle East Center at London School of Economics and Political Science. She has published widely on Islam and Muslims in China, transnational religious networks, social changes in the Arabian Gulf, and the Chinese expatriate community in the UAE. Please join me in welcoming on stage Dr. Yuting Wang.
Good evening, distinguished guests and delegates. It is a great honor of mine to welcome you to the opening ceremony of the 2022 edition of the AUS Model United Nations Conference. First of all, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dean Anab Tawi, who has been a tremendous supporter of AUS Model UN and many student events on campus. Without his leadership, this conference would have not been possible. And on behalf of my department, I would like to express my appreciation to Provost Sanchez and Chancellor Meng, who could not be here today because of her illness, Vice Provost for Undergraduate Affairs, Dr. James Griffin, Vice Provost for Student Affairs, Dr. Mastroregolo, and Dr. Dean Barkey from the College of Arts, Architecture, Art, and Design, and for joining us this evening, and despite their extremely busy schedule. I joined the Department of International Studies as an assistant professor back in 2009. 2 years prior to my arrival, a former colleague, a fellow sociologist, Dr. Minas Kasam, initiated the first Model United Nations Conference for students in the country. In the next decade, AUSMUN has grown into one of the most influential and reputable student-led events, not just AUS, but in the entire region. Yes, the Department of International Studies has been the proud sponsor of the AUSMUN annual conference since 2007. And AUS Model UN has been going strong for 15 years. The longevity and vitality of this organization cannot be taken lightly. In this 15 years, this has been a remarkable success. I have been involved in AUS Model United Nations in different capacities in the past, but this is my first time observing its operation as the interim head of the department. Facing the mounting challenges and uncertainties due to the ongoing pandemic, it has surely been quite an experience for our student organizers, stressful but rewarding. From selecting the theme for the 2022 conference, creating the conference program, communicating with participating high schools, applying for permission to hold this conference in person, coordinating the catering services, to placing the flowers on the podium this evening, I have witnessed the collaborative work of a group of inspiring young people. The entire preparation has taken hundreds of hours of hard work, if not thousands, starting from summer 2021 till now. There were times when disagreements and miscommunication had led to frustration, even tension. In fact, we weren't even sure if on-site conference was possible just a month ago, yet not once did anyone think of quitting. The scale of the conference this year is certainly much humbler compared to the glorious pre-COVID era, yet gathering 600 participants here this evening during the pandemic is itself quite an accomplishment. You have persevered through adversity. You have demonstrated an important leadership skill. When you asked me to talk about youth leadership in my speech, I think your work speaks volumes of what it means to be a leader, and how young people like you with determination and perseverance would become the drivers of social change. Your willingness to take risks, to accept criticism, to listen, to negotiate, to compromise, and at the same time hold steadfast to your goals are exemplar. So let me congratulate the Secretary General, the board members, student volunteers, and the supporting faculty advisors and staff who have put together this event this weekend. And of course, this weekend's events are designed for you, the delegates from all the 7 Emirates. You are gathering here this weekend as the representatives of your schools and your peers to work toward finding solutions to some of the greatest challenges of our time. You're here because of your talents, but more importantly, it is because of your interests in global affairs and your desire to bring about a better and a safer world where problems can be solved through discussions, debates, and negotiations on a shared platform instead of through violence and coercion. I hope that the 2-day program will encourage you to explore the complex political, economic, social, and cultural conditions that surround various global problems, to challenge stereotypes and prejudice, to build the knowledge and skills needed to succeed in a rapidly changing world, and most importantly, to be inspired to become a responsible, active, global citizen. The theme for AUS Model UN 2022 is challenging mindsets, building human capacities. Social change doesn't happen on its own. It needs leaders to drive it. AUS Model UN provides a platform to hone your leadership skills to enable you to play a bigger role as the next generation of leaders. As we kick off the events for this weekend, I encourage you to think for yourself and always back your arguments with solid empirical evidence through research, and keep an open mind to multiple solutions. Do not hesitate to reach out for support from your teachers, peers, student volunteers, faculty advisors. More importantly, listen to your fellow delegates with respect, especially those who disagree with you. Our world faces a myriad of challenges, from the lingering COVID-19 pandemic, climate change, political conflict, and various humanitarian crises. If you wonder whether what we're doing here today and this weekend would make any difference at all, I invite you to try. Confucius said, "It doesn't matter how slowly we go, as long as we do not stop." So do what you can, learn as you do it, implement what you learn. By your participation in this conference, you have already taken a small step toward making the world a safer and a more prosperous place for all. Thank you very much. Enjoy the weekend.
Thank you, Dr. Yuting, for your beautiful speech. Coming next, we'll have on stage Dr. Sami Badran, who received his PhD in political science from the University of Kansas and has degrees from the University of Minnesota and Hawaii. He is professor of political science at AUS and previously taught classes at the University of Kansas and St. Martin's University near Seattle. He has published widely on North African politics and social movements and has spent a year conducting interviews in Morocco for his forthcoming book, Demobilization in Morocco. Please join me in welcoming on stage Dr. Sami Badran.
To quote former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, I'd like to begin by welcoming tomorrow's leaders to today's United Nations. On behalf of the American University of Sharjah and AUSMUN, I'd like to express our gratitude to each of you for choosing AUSMUN. If this is your first time participating in AUSMUN, welcome, nice to meet you. If you are a veteran, welcome back. We've missed you. We hope to see you all at many more AUSMUNs in the future, and perhaps in class as future AUSers. We spent the last year preparing for each of you. These preparations have been no easy task for our student volunteers, and I'm proud of the efforts of our executive board members, deputies, and student organizers to present our first in-person conference since the pandemic began. This conference is possible with the endorsement of the AUS administration. To all of the AUS and CAS leadership, please accept my gratitude on behalf of AUSMUN, its board, and its advisors. Thank you for being here. Specifically, I'd like to extend a special thank you to Chancellor Susan Mumm. This would be her first AUSMUN experience here, and we appreciate your support and look forward to seeing you at future AUSMUNs. To Dr. Mahmoud Anabtawi, Dean of the College of Arts and Science, who consistently provides the resources and funding necessary to execute such a large, multi-stage project. To Dr. Yuteng Wang, head of the INS department, who has offered continued encouragement, support, and advice throughout this year. And to Dr. Janice Lusk, INS faculty, current AUSMUN advisor that has helped this current and previous boards to build AUSMUN to its present day standard. Thank you for all your help and advice during my transition to this role. And of course, thank you to the INS administrative assistant, Khazal Hijazi, AUSMUN faculty advisor, Dr. King, and especially all current AUSMUN 2022 board members. Muhammad, Anam, Reem, Aman, Fatima, Gauthami, Hala, and Qamar, please stand up and remain standing. AUSMUN is impossible without the dedication and commitment of each of you and your teams of organizers. They spent a year, many weekends, and nights organizing this conference. I would like to ask all of the attendees to join me again, the board members here who have worked so hard towards this event. Please give them one more well-deserved round of applause. Finally, I'd like to bring your attention to this year's theme, Challenging Mindsets, Building Human Capacities. Our vision is to completely embody the spirit of positive, forward-thinking growth despite the difficulties of this pandemic. As you enter committees tonight and throughout the weekend, please keep this theme in mind. As tomorrow's leaders, we're counting on each of you. Thank you and happy AUSMUN.
Thank you, Dr. Sami, for your speech. Honorable guests, now on the stage, we are going to present our welcome gesture to all of you. The College of Arts and Sciences program of Performing Arts present to you the Arabic Music Ensemble. They will perform a set of folkloric songs from the classical Arabic music tradition. The group is coached and directed by Dr. Albert Agha. So please welcome on stage the Arabic Music Ensemble.
Test 1, 2, test. Test 1, 2.
Test, test.
ألاقي محبوبي بين الياسمين والريحاني يا عيني بين الياسمين والريحاني إجا الشحات على باب الدار قالت له الحلوة على الله إجا الشحات على باب الدار قالت له الحلوة على الله قالها أنا مانيش راحة أعطيني بوسة أخيرة يا عيني أعطيني بوسة أخيرة البلبل نغى غصني الفل يا شقيق النعماني البلبل نغى غصني الفل يا شقيق النعماني قصدي ألاقي محبوبي بين الياسمين والريحاني يا عيني بين الياسمين والريحاني حالي حالي حال بالي بالي بال 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 أنت مرادي أنت الحبيب احفظ بداية حالي عجيب أنت مرادي أنت الحبيب احفظ ودادي حالي عجيب حالي حالي حال بالي بالي بال 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 حالي حالي بالي بالي بال
What a lovely performance. Please give it up again for the Arabic Music Ensemble. Up next, we're going to welcome on stage the Secretary General for AUSMUN 2022 for his remarks. Please give it up for the Secretary General, Mohammed al-Zaabi.
Provost and Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Juan Sanchez. Vice Provost for Undergraduate Affairs, Dr. James Griffin. Vice Provost for Student Life, Dr. Lisa Moscaritolo. Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Mahmoud Anabtawi. Dean of the College of Architecture, Art and Design, Dr. Farki Palathucheril. Head of the International Studies Department, Dr. Yuting Wang. Our esteemed guest speakers, Sarah Shatila, Bisan Salama, and Meda Suwaidi. And former AUSMUN board members, Ashwarya Padmanabhan, Manaswi Medichati, and Abdullah Al-Matrushi. As well as our esteemed guests, respected faculty, and of course, our distinguished delegates. Thank you all for coming and joining us here today. We are pleased to be able to welcome you all here at AUS on this special occasion. My name is Mohammed Al-Zaabi, and I'm the Secretary General of AUSMUN 2022. This year's conference marks our 15th annual conference, and we are very proud to be able to host it today here at AUS with all of you. Just before I get started, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you who generously helped us make this event come together smoothly. To the entire AUS administration for granting us their kind approval to organize an in-person conference, to Dean Anabtawi and the College of Arts and Sciences for their continuous support to AUSMUN throughout the years, to the head of the International Studies Department, Dr. Yuting Wang, for putting her confidence in AUSMUN to organize this conference, to our faculty advisors, Dr. Sami Bedran, Dr. Janice Lusk, and Dr. Jeffrey King, for guiding us throughout this journey, to Ms. Ghazal Hijazi for helping us in putting all the parts together and being with us step by step to make sure the conference runs smoothly as it is right now, to all the International Studies Department faculty for supporting AUSMUN as always, and of course, to every single member of the AUSMUN 2022 Executive Board, Deputy Secretary General Anam Naushad, Director of Human Resources Reem Dulaimi, Director of Research Mohammed Aman Siddiqui, Director of Logistics Fatima Farhana Muyakal, Director of External Relations Gauthami Pillai, Director of Media Hala Nassar, and last but not least, Director of Web Design and Development Qamar Al-Qiramli. Special thanks to our organizing team as well, which is led by our Deputy Directors. Deputy Directors of Human Resources Huda Imran and Sara Abu Iqtish, Deputy Directors of Research Muhammad Junaid and Bini Rufshandani, Deputy Directors of Logistics Ramisha Siddiqui and Sakshat Menon, Deputy Directors of External Relations Anam Fatma and Lamisa Sayari, and last but not least, Deputy Directors of Media Azina Luta and Saliha Saqib. I hope I didn't mispronounce any of your names. Delegates, as a former delegate, I would like to take this opportunity to tell you one thing. You made the right decision by choosing to be a delegate and being present here with us. You may ask why. Well, the answer is simple. By being a delegate, you are empowering yourself and empowering others around you. You are telling yourself that you can make a difference. You are telling others that they can make a difference as well. And you are convincing yourself that you have the desire and the right attitude to achieve something and leave a mark. Therefore, please give yourselves a warm round of applause for choosing to participate in AUSMUN 2022. Having said that, enjoy the rest of the ceremony, and I look forward to declaring the opening of the conference towards the end of the ceremony.
Thank you, Mohammed, for your speech. Coming up next is the Deputy Secretary General for AUSMUN 2022. Please welcome on stage Anam Naushad.
Thank you, Sheikha. A very good evening to everyone present here on this glorious day. My name is Anam Naushad, Deputy Secretary General of AUSMUN 2022. I want to thank Ahzabi on my behalf for gloriously addressing all the members of the AUS community that could make this conference possible. On May 3rd, 2021, at exactly 9:26 a.m., I received an email stating that I was selected for the DSG position for AUSMUN. I was thrilled and had no words to describe how I felt. But trust me, this was nothing compared to the adrenaline rush that I felt when I stood here 9 months, 22 days, 7 hours, 4 minutes later, when I see all the hard work that has come back to life. The feeling knowing that we pushed our way through despite so much uncertainty. Our generation has learned to adapt in the most strange ways, a commendable trait in times of uncertainty. I want to take a moment and elucidate a short story that I came across once. So a group of people lived in a community, and a wise man kept complaining about all the sorts of problems that they had over and over again. One day, he decided to tell them a joke, and they all roared with laughter. After a few minutes, he told them the same joke, and only a few of them smiled. He told the same joke for the third time, and no one smiled anymore. The wise man smiled and said, "If you can't laugh at the same joke over and over again, why are you always crying about the same problem over and over again?" This is why we are here today. Delegates, this is your moment. We put the world in your hands. Every day we're surrounded by problems, big or small, but the impact is just a butterfly effect. Create a small change, and you never know the potential it initiates in the entire world. Don't cry about the problem, but create possibilities of what you can do about it. Be it your first time here or a pro, you took a stance to make an influence in tomorrow's life. This is a platform to showcase diversity and bring people together with a common goal in the lieu of the theme this year. Today I come to you with a question given to you, and the next 2 days you will leave with a solution. That's when we know the measure of the success of our organization. I wish all the delegates the very best of luck and have a wonderful evening ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anam, for your inspiring speech. Honorable guests, right now, you're about to enjoy a soulful musical theater piece performed by AUS alumnus Larissa De Silva. She will be accompanied by AUS Performing Arts pianist Professor Jane Shumilova, who is a Ukrainian classically trained pianist, performer, accompanist, and teacher based in the UAE since 2008. She has been performing and teaching internationally for almost 14 years, alongside amazing musicians, taking part in many exciting projects and collaborations. So please give it up for the talented duo, Larissa and Professor Jane. Don't wish, don't start. Wishing only wounds the heart. I wasn't born for the rose and pearl. There's a girl I know, he loves her so. I'm not that girl. Don't wish, don't start. Wishing only wounds the heart. I wasn't born for the rose and pearl. There's a girl I know, and heaven knows I'm not that Thank you for the amazing performance. Up next, we'd like to introduce to you on stage our guest speakers for this evening. Our first guest speaker for this evening is Sarah Shatila, who's a mentor and SDG advocate with years of experience in social innovation, communication, and sustainable development. Alongside her current role as the Communications and Advocacy Manager for the United Nations Office in the UAE, she is a frequent trainer, mentor, speaker, and judge in accelerator programs, sharing her expertise with social enterprises on business for impact, storytelling, and design thinking. She held previous leadership roles within private and international organizations and is actively involved in advocacy groups focusing on peace building and social cohesion through participatory designs, impact technology, social entrepreneurship, storytelling, and the Sustainable Development Goals. She was selected as a young leader for the Young Women Peace Builders Program and the Gender Innovation Agora by UN Women, where she advises on the economic empowerment of women and active participation through women's peace and security agenda across the Arab states. Please join me in welcoming on stage Sarah Shatila.
Thank you for the introduction. Good evening, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, fellow MUN delegates, and future world leaders. It is an honor to be here with you today, invited as a guest speaker to share my personal experience, while 12 years ago, I was right there in your seat as an MUN delegate, full of hope and big dreams. While it may have been a different university, a different country, and a different opening speech, yet I see myself among each one of you, sharing the same ambition and drive to change the world. I even got a bit emotional when I first walked in. As I reflect on those years, my experience with MUN is one that has truly shaped my vision on the world. It gave me an outlook on the global challenges we face and the realization that our fate relies on world leaders who make decisions on our behalf, influencing our world each day. Choosing a world that thrives on peace, equality, justice, inclusion, and biodiversity is not a choice. It is the only way. My message to you is this: use this experience over the next few days to shape the world you want. Use your voice to raise your words and speak up for yourself and for everyone. Pursue and stand tall for a world of justice today and every day. Act for a world that is inclusive and diverse. But as young leaders who will change the world one day, be humans first. Let dignity and compassion be the guiding compass for your decisions. A better tomorrow relies on our role as youth in letting our voices be heard. Living in a region with frequent political and economic instability and one of the highest youth unemployment rates, my heart would ache every time I see stories of millions of families displaced and forced to flee their homes in search of safety. Children and stories of their children deprived of their rights for childhood and deprived of their basic human rights. Young people's futures at stake. I knew since then that my purpose is to be their voice and to commit to creating positive impact in anything I choose to do. I started volunteering when I was in high school with different organizations, and then shortly after, when I was a university student, I joined and I led one of the largest youth-run organizations for their local chapter in Lebanon. 6 years ago, I moved here to my second home, the UAE, to build my career in sustainable development in CSR and media. All my life, I have worked with hundreds of youth, talented and bright, and from across the world, with marginalized communities and refugee camps full of hope and smiles, from different UN agencies and civil society organizations committed to drive social impact. And today, I am grateful to be representing the United Nations, leading the communications and advocacy programs for the United Nations in UAE. Such enriching experiences helped me build and develop leadership and soft skills that paved the way for my professional career. I am here today as a result of all the experiences and hard work that I've embarked on in my journey, and of course, the support of people I met along the way. The reason I am telling you this is that, for me, it is a never-ending journey. I choose to learn and grow each day. So choose to believe in yourselves, learn and unlearn. Know that you are the leaders of your own future before you are the leaders of the world. As we know, the theme for this year's Model United Nations, hosted by the American University of Sharjah, is challenging mindsets and building human capacities. The world thrives on diversity and all capabilities, and only by sharing our unique skills and abilities, while also striving to create positive impact, will humanity thrive. Do not be afraid to chase your dreams, nor hold back to fulfill your passions, but make sure that while you do so, you are uplifting each other up and striving for a better world for our people and for our planet. As the United Nations, it is our mission to support all countries to protect the planet and to improve the lives of everyone. While humanity has achieved much progress on various fronts over the past years, the world still faces threats to our collective existence, including a global pandemic, conflicts, rising inequalities, a climate crisis, and others. We are committed to working with national and world leaders, private sector, and civil society to mobilize resources and galvanize efforts to help create a better tomorrow. We must keep the promise to deliver in this decade of action and accelerate efforts towards achieving the 17 Sustainable Development Goals by the year 2030. The UAE is pioneering such efforts and honoring the commitment as thought leaders on solutions for sustainable development. We have a diverse UN country team with over 31 different UN agencies working in and with the UAE on various issues, such as climate change, biodiversity, global humanitarian response, youth empowerment, inclusion, and the important agenda of women, peace, and security. The latter is particularly dear to my heart and also critical for our world. With all the different human crises that have threatened our world, women and children remain to be the most affected. The COVID-19 pandemic has impacted the lives of millions around the world, yet it had deepened pre-existing inequalities within social, political, and economic systems. Recent reports also show that climate change is disproportionately affecting women and youth. Climate-induced natural disasters limit their access to healthcare services, safe water, sanitation, food security, and education. The world cannot see meaningful progress or growth without the participation of our youth. As a young Arab women leader myself, I dedicate my time and expertise to advocate for the SDGs and support youth through capacity building and programs. I believe in our youth potential. We play an important role and part in designing solutions to that our world desperately needs. We must challenge mindsets and build human capabilities through social innovations and sustainable practices that leave no one behind. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, and champions of sustainable development, it makes me happy to be sharing this message with you all tonight. The path is full of opportunities and possibilities. The journey starts with you, fellow young leaders. Remember that you are strong and capable of becoming the change makers our world needs for a better tomorrow. History is yours to make. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sarah, for your lovely speech. Next in line, we have Meda Suwaidi, who was the Chief of Staff for the Dubai Cares Pavilion at Expo 2020. Please join me in welcoming on stage Meda Suwaidi.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for having me here today. I have a presentation to share with you, and if it could be displayed on the screen, that would be great. While the presentation is put on screen, allow me to introduce the organization of Dubai Cares and to also thank the American University of Sharjah for their generous support to the cause of Dubai Cares. Next slide, please. I clicked on it. Okay. Dubai Cares is a philanthropic organization that was founded in 2007 by His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, the Vice President and Prime Minister of the United Arab Emirates and ruler of Dubai. The mandate of Dubai Cares is to break the cycle of poverty through quality education. And with the generous support of the UAE community, Dubai Cares is active in more than 60 countries, supporting more than 200 programs around the world. With the generous support of the community and our supporters, we are reaching more than 21 million children globally. So what does Dubai Cares do? Dubai Cares partners with international organizations and UN agencies to design and fund programs that aim to be integrated, impactful, sustainable, and scalable. These are 4 core elements that allows us to choose and fund programs because with the partnerships and with strategic government contributions is where we can ensure sustainability. Dubai Cares plays a key role in helping achieving the Sustainable Development Goal number 4, which aims to ensure inclusive and quality education for all by 2030. Under the umbrella of education, Dubai Cares kind of supports 2 main causes. The first is access to education. Around the world, there are more than 250 million children that don't have access to education. Dubai Cares supports children by constructing and renovating schools, ensuring that there is a safe, conducive environment for children to thrive. It supports water and sanitation and hygiene programs. That is one of the biggest barriers worldwide for children not able to go to school. A lot of children around the world travel kilometers to just fetch water from nearby water wells. We also realize that children's health is very important, and a lot of children drop out of school because of poor health and nutrition, which is why Dubai Cares supports school-based deworming programs and school feeding, which are all essential in getting children to schools. Where access to education is not a challenge in a lot of countries, quality of education is. Unfortunately, there are more than 600 million children around the world that go to school but don't know how to read and write. Dubai Cares tries to end that by teaching teachers, building capacity of local educators and ministries of education to ensure that curriculum development is per quality and is achieving the goals of the education sector of countries. Literacy and numeracy is also a huge component of Dubai Cares, where we focus on reading and writing and mathematical skills. Dubai Cares also tries to support early childhood development countries. The first 1,000 days of a child can determine his or her learning path in life, and it's very essential to kind of target those early years to ensure that we do not continue the poverty cycle of one's country. Youth empowerment is also a very big focus of Dubai Cares. Youth are change makers, and Dubai Cares realizes that and partners with a lot of UN agencies to ensure that youth are empowered, are given the tools to kind of give back to their society and build that up. Other focus areas of Dubai Cares is gender equality, education in emergencies, monitoring, evaluation and learning, and research-oriented programs. Dubai Cares is present, and education is usually neglected in areas that have natural disaster or conflict, for instance. So we try to bring back the focus, which is a very underfunded area as well. And gender equality, ensuring equal access to education for girls and boys. I would like to bring your attention to some community engagement activities that Dubai Cares has here in the UAE. For those who are based here, we encourage you to come and become volunteers and participate in some of our initiatives. We have our annual Walk for Education. That symbolizes the long distances that a lot of children around the world commute to access education. We usually have that on an annual basis, and our next Walk for Education is going to be in February, inshallah. We also have our volunteer Emirates initiatives, and this is done around different schools here in the UAE, from Ras Al Khaimah and Fujairah and Al Giwain and others, where we get community members here to kind of reconstruct schools. We provide schools with new furniture and beautify the school by painting murals, by putting in playgrounds, enhancing the school atmosphere, as that really affects the learning of children. One of our other initiatives, which is one that I've personally been on, is Volunteer Globally. Dubai Cares takes around 15 members of the UAE community from different nationalities to support the school construction program overseas. We have this program in Nepal, Malawi, and Senegal. And we encourage you to apply for those once we announce it. It's a really great initiative to go, travel, and work with a local NGO and kind of support education in those 3 countries where we're offering this program. Dubai Cares partners a lot with UN agencies, and I'm just going to give a very quick snapshot of what type of support we engage in. So Dubai Cares is a civil society organization that is associated with the UN Department of Global Communications. So our communications are always in line with the policies and advocacy strategies of the UN. We partner with UN agencies such as UNICEF, UNESCO, the World Food Programme, UNRWA, and UNHCR. And when we're not implementing in-country programs, we sit on a lot of global advocacy platforms. This is important because while you're on the ground doing groundwork implementation, it's also important to kind of voice out strategy to policy changers and decision makers around the globe to change the future of education in a lot of countries. For example, the Dubai Declaration on Early Childhood Development is a great example and partnership of Dubai Cares and UNICEF on ensuring that countries prioritize early childhood development and education in the countries where UNICEF operates. The Rewired Global Declaration on Connectivity for Education is a partnership between Dubai Cares and UNESCO, which ensures connectivity in areas that have no access to digital education. This is a program that we're launching now and getting governments on board to provide digital education. And one thing that we've learned with COVID, with school closures around the world, that there is a huge gap in this area, and it is completely important. Dubai Cares also funds the UNICEF Generation Unlimited, which is focusing on youth empowerment and technical vocational training around the world. And we also promote a number of United Nations international days, such as the International Day of the Girl Child, for instance. I want to share a personal example of collaboration between the UAE and the United Nations. I'm not sure how many of you heard of the Junior Professional Officer Program, known as the JPO program. I've been privileged to be selected by the UAE to join this program. I was based in New York with UNICEF for 2 years, just came back in August last year, actually. And I was in the Education and Emergencies Department there. The JPO program is an excellent program for those young adults that wish to join or enter UN-based agencies. Now, we know it's extremely challenging, and there is a huge, huge appeal for a lot of people to join the UN. This is a great entry point. It's basically a collaboration between governments and UN agencies, and a lot of UN agencies have JPO programs, including the World Food Program, UNHCR, UNDP, and many others. And it's great for professional coaching, for career counseling, and mentoring programs that allows then those graduating from this program to have full-time jobs with the UN. Dubai Cares has 3 main initiatives at Expo, and while you are in Dubai, I encourage you to visit the Dubai Cares Pavilion at Expo. We have the theme, "The Future is Human," which again highlights the need for agencies, governments, to really focus on the human element. We know while technology is taken over, we have a lot of artificial intelligence, technology for agriculture, for example. Focusing on human capacity development is the way forward, and Dubai Cares screams this message out in all of our advocacy strategy. I apologize again for the start of this presentation with some technical difficulties, but I thank you for your attention, and again, congratulations to everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Meda, for your speech. Our final guest speaker for this evening is Bisan Salama, who is a private sector relationship manager for United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, UNHCR. She has more than 10 years of experience in partnership building, stakeholder relationship management, and business development in both the non-for-profit and governmental sectors. Bisan is specialized in fundraising campaigns, stakeholder engagement, strategic planning, and donor management, and has successfully served with UNHCR, UNRWA, and USAID projects. Since 2016, Bisan is managing and maintaining UNHCR's private sector partners in the UAE. Bisan holds a BSc in Finance from Birzeit University in Palestine and an MSc in International Management from University of Strathclyde, United Kingdom. Please join me in welcoming our second guest speaker for this evening, Bisan Salama.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for having me today. I'm Bisan Salame. My father was forced to flee his city, Bisan, in Palestine in 1948. He was internally displaced in different cities in Palestine until he was registered as a refugee in Jordan. He named me after his city, Bisan, as he was hoping one day he would return there. He even kept his house key with him. The story of my father made me a very passionate advocate towards the refugee cause, as I believe that refugees, whether there are Palestinians, Syrians, Iraqis, Afghans, or Yemenis, must have equal human rights. The right to quality education, proper shelter, health services, and so on. In my high school and university years, I volunteered with many NGOs and international organizations such as UNRWA to help Palestinian refugee children. My previous experiences have helped me in securing my current job with the UNHCR, the United Nations Refugee Agency, where I started working with them in 2016. For those who don't know, UNHCR is mandated to protect and help refugees. Unfortunately, so far and nowadays we have 81 million internally displaced and refugees around the world. And most of them are hosted in the region, in the MENA region. We help in providing them with everything they need, from shelter to education to protection, livelihood opportunities, and so on. In UNHCR Dubai office, I'm the private sector partnership manager, where I partner with the private sector, from corporates to foundations and royal family members, in order to raise funds and awareness for refugees. For many refugees, I am the genie in the bottle, where I travel to the refugee camps, talk to them, listen to their stories, needs, and requirements, and go back to the UAE, try my best to find donors to fund these needs and requirements. And from here, I would love to share with you one of the stories I have experienced during my work with UNHCR. The story took place in July 2019, where I visited one of the primary schools in Kakuma camp in Kenya, and I met with South Sudanese refugee girls. These girls were very smart, ambitious, and go-getters. They all wanted to be seen and heard. However, only 20% of these girls can continue their education. Due to the limited secondary education seats, there's only one secondary school for girls in the camp. And in 2019, around 400 girls, refugee girls, submitted and registered for the school. However, only 90 were accepted due to the limited seats. So I went back to the UAE, and I met with many donors. And one of the donors was the Big Heart Foundation, led by Her Highness Sheikh Jawahir Al-Qasimi, the wife of the ruler of Sharjah. I met with them, and I took them to Kakuma camp. We went together. They met with these girls, and directly afterwards, they donated $1 million to establish another secondary school for girls in the camp. This story is one of many other stories of hope. And these refugees, whether they are South Sudanese, or Syrians, or Yemenis, have many things in common: determination, ambitious, strength, resilience. However, they lack one thing, which is the opportunity. And once we provide them with the opportunity, they excel and thrive. I'm not the only one in this hall responsible to help refugees. Each one of you can. You can by speaking up and raising your voice. You can by using your social media platforms. You can also support by raising funds to help these refugees. For example, you can organize a marathon and the proceeds will go to sponsor the education of refugee students. At the end, always remember, no one becomes a refugee by choice, but the rest of us have a choice of how we can help. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bisan, for your amazing speech. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to call upon our external speakers on stage to receive a moment of appreciation for taking part in the AUSMUN 2022 opening ceremony. So please be invited on stage, Sarah Shatila, Bisan Salama, and Meda Suwaidi. And now the moment that you all have been waiting for. Please join me in welcoming the Secretary General once again to declare the opening of the conference before moving to committee sessions. Mohammed Al-Zaabi.
It is a pleasure to join you again, but this time to declare the opening of the conference before moving to committee sessions as mentioned. Therefore, I, Mohammed Al-Zaabi, with the power bestowed upon me as the Secretary General, declare AUSMUN 2022 open. Having said that, I wish you all a very productive and enjoyable conference.
Dear guests, please remain seated.
Dear delegates, we would request you to please be seated as we would call you committee-wise to please move in. So thank you so much. Just remain seated and we will allocate the committees to your classrooms as requested. Thank you. Historic, just tell UNSC.
J4, J1, section 1. All right. All right. Dear guests, now we will be requesting delegates to move to their committees with their respective organizing team members. Please pay attention and remain seated until your committee is called upon. which is by then you can rise and exit the auditorium from the main door, sorry.